here this afternoon in furtherance of one of the engagements we have to carry out to fulfill the mandate of this committee. The heart of our job is to entrench a peaceful environment for meaningful and sustainable coexistence, as well as enhance optimum flow of economic activities within the host communities of the oil-bearing communities in Nigeria. In the process of achieving this goal, we have set out a series of engagements with all stakeholders. This particular one is one of the core mandates of the committee, which is to take petitions from host communities, and it is the exclusive. Sorry. As part of our mandate is to ensure that we interface with host communities and companies that operate within, the areas where we have jurisdiction over, and that's why we are here. The Finima Capacity Development Community of Rivers State forwarded a petition against the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Company Limited to this committee. I think we received that petition on the 4th. On the 4th of June. And that's why we have invited all parties to be here for us to address these issues. Let me also make all of us understand. We are here to make sure that we find a lasting solution to this problem. We are not here to witch hunt anybody. We are not here to oppress anybody. We are not here to force anybody into doing what he or she ought not to do. Our duty here is to make sure that all parties go home and live like the normal Finima in the Bonny Kingdom that I know, where the hallmark of your engagements have always been very, very peaceful. Everything about Bonny has been very peaceful, right from when I was a little boy. To that extent, the petition is before us, and I will not want to take too much of your time. We will call on the petitioners through whoever they have nominated to speak to the petition that they have brought before us.
Politically, Bonny local government area, Rivers State, Nigeria, traditionally Bonny Kingdom, for giving us this wonderful opportunity to appear before you to present our grievances, our concerns against Nigeria Nlng Limited, our tenants. We are indeed most grateful, sirs. By way of history, Finima is the most ancient community in Bonny local government area. And this community is founded by the ancestors of the Boyo Musu Brown house in about 1300 AD. This community can be referred as the treasure base of Bonny local government area, and to a large extent, Rivers State and Nigeria. Hence, deserves priority and must be recognized as such. The people of Finima community, before we were moved to our present site, were sustainably self-sufficient, with natural vegetation, over 37 fresh and saltwater creeks, which served as a means of livelihood to its people. It is at the coming of IOCs And recently, the Nigeria LNG, that Finima community lost all these natural habitations. As we speak to you, honorable members, out of the 37 creeks noted to be in Finima, only one is barely surviving. Our people no longer fish. Our people now struggle to survive. Honorable members, in March 1978, NNPC, on behalf of Nlng, commenced the process of the resettlement of Finima community so that the present Nigeria LNG will be built. Honorable members, we have communication in that regard. On Finima being the most ancient community in Boni local government area, you can refer to page 27 of this report, of a well-documented report of somebody who was in existence, who actually lived in the coastal regions when slave trade was very high then. That can be found in Appendix 1 on page 27 of the document you're having. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. That's fine. Yes, sir. Yeah. So, Finima community, the process started in 1978, in March 1978, through a correspondence which is also attached to our report, that Finima needs to be relocated. And all that needs to be done for Finima will be done. The document is also attached, written in 1978 by Akbe. Honorable members, our people hoped that a relocation of this nature should come with certain benefits. However, up until today, Finima community is yet to enjoy those benefits. It's sad to know that NNPC could not uphold the commitments made at the time of resettling the Finima people, for reasons best known to them. And it's our understanding that Nlng is to fulfill the remaining, what they didn't do. However, up until today, we are still struggling with completing what is referred to as legacy projects in Finima community. Finima community represents 35% of the landmass of Boni Kingdom and is presently host to a number of IOCs, SPDC, ExxonMobil, Nigeria Nlng, and others. It is also interesting to note that we are being denied, marginalized, the rights of a host community for reasons we do not understand. Finima community hasn't benefited or is not looked at. The question people will ask, why are you so special as Finima people? And to a large extent, the Boyomuso Brown House. We all know in this part of the world that families own land. And we have records which has also been attached. Both judicial pronouncements of courts of competent jurisdiction, literature from renowned authors, agreements signed by a number of people that families own land, including NNPC, even Nigeria LNG Limited. All the documents are stated herein. So, if we have been relocated, we suffered during the relocation. We lost our cultural heritage. We lost our traditional heritage. We lost a lot of sacred identities that made us unique as a people because of Nlng. And we can boldly say, because of Nigeria. Yet, we don't want to be seen. And we must say that this negligence has never been so bad up until the current management of Nigeria LNG Limited. It has never been this bad. The Brown House, and by extension Finima, solely the letter written by Ahmed, letter written by NNPC, came to Finima. It didn't go to any other place because families own land. And we challenge anybody to come forth to say otherwise, because we have judicial pronouncement which has also been locked with the principle of res judicata. That means that case on land can no longer be discussed. We have had over 20 court cases on land matters, and all has been in the favor of Brown House. There may be some conspiracy theories that land is kingdom. But in the documents you have, we have shown clear-cut evidence, because we will not base our submissions on anecdotal facts. We are giving you, and we have presented to this Honorable House, legal, empirical underpinnings that supports our position. And as you know, land is something that people can die for. Land is something that is sacrosanct to the existence of a people. If you lose your land, it is possible that you can be completely annihilated. And that is why it pains us that we as a people were relocated. When LNG wants to discuss land, it comes to the Brown House. Even the recent one that was just done recently, it comes to the Brown House. But when it comes to giving us our rights, LNG deliberately ignores us and puts us in a structure that our rights are either hidden or not attended to. However, the CCG, distinguished member, this is a law passed by you, the Login Act of 2010, which guides us on who a host community is. And it is clearly written who a host community is. And even in NLNG's documents, it's clearly defined that the plant is in Finima. It is Finima that was relocated. It's our graves that were desecrated. It's our existence that is almost being forgotten. Our language is going. Our cultural heritage is almost gone. And it's clearly stated who a host community is. The community where oil and gas operations projects take place. And that is in Finima. We have impacted communities. We have pipeline communities, which means virtually all communities can be dealt with based on where they find themselves in the provisions of the CCG. For example, NLNG has what they call cluster communities or cluster settings. For example, where the headquarters is located is Amadiama in Port Harcourt and Obum Nwabali. NLNG has GMOUs with those. Now the distance between Amadiama and Obum Nwabali is just a small creek. NLNG has GMOUs with each of those communities. They have with Ubeta. All the cluster communities, they have sampled GMOUs. Why is it that it is in the case of Finima that NLNG cannot have a GMOU with Finima? When they want land, they come to us at night. In the day, they deny us and say we are part of a larger kingdom. We are not saying we are not part of a larger kingdom, but a kingdom is not a community. A kingdom is made up of communities. And Bonny Kingdom is so special because each of those communities, families own land in the communities, and these communities enjoy some independence. And there is what we call some level of corporate separateness in the management of these communities. Another conspiracy theory, honorable members, that will come is the fact that there are 3 families in Finima. That is not a problem. We have the Brown house, which is the major house, and then we have the minor houses. I do not believe, which are Tobin and Attorney, these houses are not equal. We might be made to believe that these houses are equal. Yes, they have the same voting rights at the Council of Chiefs. However, we have classification. There are major houses and there are minor houses. And we have extant judicial submissions to this fact that land is the first being in 1975 by the late Justice Inkotaria. And that matter has also been locked with the res judicata. That means anything on land is the sole preserve of the Brown House. However, that judge in his wisdom also made provisions for those who took the Brown House to court. That if you work with your brother, if you say you are no longer a part of your brother, then you cannot get what comes out of whatever he does. But as long as you are a part of your brother, it behoves your brother to also carry you along. But you cannot conscript your brother. You cannot force your brother. And suffice us to say that these 3 houses are children of the same mother, historically. But you cannot expect to benefit from your elder brother when you have displayed contagiously irredentist tendencies. That cannot happen. But as long as you choose to work with your brother, it's clear. So, if anybody who has any evidence to say, oh, the Brown House is not the sole result, there are lots of conspiracy theories, but as long as it is not cast on law, it is not recognized by law, you will not be saved. Thank you. So, our prayer, honorable members, is that Nlng recognizes us as its host community, Finima community, according to the provisions of the law, and deal with us in that regard. What communities ought to benefit. As you also deal with other communities, do same for us.